I am trying to figure out self-care. I haven't mastered it. I am working on it. It's something that I've struggled with through the years. Being a mom and a single mom, you're juggling so much. I juggle so much.
My mom never had time to take care of herself. She took care of the restaurants. In the restaurant business, you never stop. And just seeing that, I thought, no, that's not for me.
I think self-care, it can be a topic that brings up a lot of guilt in parents. Sometimes parents will say, oh, like, yeah, self-care, I know I have to do it. And then other times parents will almost break down in front of me and say, how can I possibly take time away from my children who need me and spend time on myself? Like, that's so selfish.
When I hear the word self-care, it kind of chokes me up a little. The right answer would be taking time for myself, exercising, reading a book. These are things that I don't often do because I don't make time for myself.
One big problem I think a lot of parents have is if I'm resting, I'm not doing something, and you have a lot of guilt associated with that. I'm trying to be very conscientious about resting being acceptable and important, actually.
Self-care is good for your kids and for you because when you take care of yourself, you're really most refreshed and most prepared to handle whatever struggles that your kids have.
A lot of times we have this idea of what the word self-care means, right? It's like a bubble bath or going for a beautiful walk. It doesn't have to be that complicated. It doesn't have to be that ornate. Self-care is really about doing something for yourself.
I found that as a parent, a lot of times self-care is just grooming.
Getting my hair done, getting my nails done.
I do breathing every morning. Just put my hands over my knees and
I spend a lot of time with my Akira. Sometimes we walk around. Sometimes he's just there sitting next to me watching TV. And the coffee, I drink coffee the whole day. Just I'm a coffee lover. Because when I feel that I'm overwhelmed, there's something it's just too much for the day, I ask my husband to spend a little bit time with the kiddos and to let me alone just with my coffee and with my dog.
These self-care moments can be really a moment, or they can be a full afternoon, they can be a weekend, they can be whatever it is that works for you.
I like to get out and walk with a friend. We got a 3-mile loop we do.
We'll put on like random music. One day it's reggaeton, one day it's rap, one day it's country. We'll just go at it in the dining room.
So one of my forms of self-care is doing escape rooms. And to date, I've done about 50. It gives me time to be in the moment, to not worry about the dishes or cleaning the house, but just to have fun like a kid.
I once saw a couple that their favorite activity was dressing their cats up in costumes. So it doesn't really matter what activity you find is rewarding or refreshing. It's really just important that you set aside time to do those activities.
I was walking around my neighborhood and I saw a dojo, and I went in and I met the sensei, and next thing I know, I'm in class and I'm learning. I was 42 years old when I received my black belt.
And I used to have a band before I had kids. I thought, like, I really miss singing a lot, so I now rehearse every weekend.
If you're having trouble finding time for self-care, one thing that people can do is often find a buddy where, you know that your child and the other person's child are maybe similar ages, maybe they're already friends, and you can have some kind of a schedule where you can take care of both your child and the other person's child, and that person can spend a little bit of time for their own self-care activity, and you can switch off.
I have invested all of myself to be the parent that I wanted. But all my attention has been on them and not on me. I haven't given them that gift of putting themselves first.
Modeling self-care is so important because it shows your teen or your child that you are taking time to really prioritize yourself.
Sometimes like we'll be in a rush and we're trying to leave the house, and he's just like, and like I can't like bug him, like he won't budge.
I've made it a point not to actually respond. I'm respecting myself, I'm honoring myself by prioritizing myself.
The kids, they see me do it. They'll join me. they push themselves harder. Initially, it felt selfish. Over the years, I see that it's not, and they validate that it's not.
This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Parenting is forever. You have to take care of yourself, right? If you think about any kind of exercise or any other activity that you would do, you know that you need sleep. You know that you need to eat. And that's all part of kind of how we think about self-care as well. You got to fill up your cup so that you have fuel to keep going.
Parents often feel guilty, and we're sort of trained to put our children's needs before our own, which is fine. However, if we are resentful, that's not being a good parent. So actually, it's being a good parent to take care of yourself.
Sometimes I think that it's very high maintenance, and I pride myself on sort of being down to earth. But I recognize that I'm an example for my girls. I want to be available to give them everything that they need. It's a learned thing to take care of yourself. And I do think self-care is important.